How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to the seventh episode now. I think it's the seventh episode. I don't know. It's been a minute since I've done a podcast. It's been a long minute. It's been more like an hour. That was a joke. It was a pretty bad joke. But yeah, I took some time off from the podcast for no particular reason, really. It just kind of happened. I guess I wasn't really happy with the direction or how the podcast was going or how it's been going before. I'm not sure if I'm going to do, the changes I am going to make, before I was kind of like doing a rough outline of, everything I wanted to talk about. Like I would do, just have like a Google Doc of basically like 7 to 10 basic topics I wanted to cover. And I just basically talk about whatever I want to talk about. And then, or talk about those topics, and then say whatever I had to say about those topics, and basically that was it. And I was just following this outline, and everything was sort of MMA oriented, which I guess is the whole purpose of this podcast. I started out wanted it to be MMA oriented, but I also want it to be a variety of other things. I want to reach a much broader audience. That was the whole idea with the White Belt podcast, being a podcast like a beginner's level for everyone. It doesn't have to be for a bunch of MMA nerds like me. That for other people that don't know know much about MMA wouldn't really know what I'm talking about. So I don't know. Right now I'm just gonna try to freestyle it, and maybe that's probably what I'll do in the future with the future podcast. I'm just gonna probably freestyle everything that I say and just kind of go off the top of my head. I feel like that's a more original way. It doesn't feel as forced or I don't know, scripted or anything like that. I just don't like that. I want to just be able to, I guess, be myself and just kind of talk about whatever I want to talk about, whatever I'm feeling right now. So I'm sure you guys are wondering what happened and where I've been. To be honest, I haven't been up to a whole lot. I kind of just took some time off. Needed to focus on myself in a way. I need to kind of focus on school. Like I said, I haven't really been doing a whole lot. I kind of did get back into the gym, going to the gym fairly consistently. Before, like, I'd say like a year or so before, I was probably working out fairly consistently, probably like 3 to 5 days a week. I just was doing it to basically stay in shape for no other reason. I wasn't trying to like put on, I obviously try to put on masks. That's what most people are trying to do when they're working out. But I was mainly just doing it to stay in shape. I wasn't really trying to get like super jacked or anything. I was just kind of doing it basically to stay in shape, and it was just something fun for me to do. And then once I graduated high school, I really kind of fell off, and I don't know, like I just got super lazy. Over the summer, like the summer transition from high school to college, I just got super lazy. I was done with high school. I was completely done. I was just trying to relax, and all I did was sit around and watch YouTube videos, watch Joe Rogan podcasts, and play video games. That's basically all I did. And then I'd say probably like 3-4 months went by, and then I could tell in pictures, and when I looked in the mirror, I was smaller. Not that I was a very physically imposing person before. I'm not like a super jacked person by any means, but I was noticeably skinnier. I'd lost like probably 15 or so pounds, and I just wasn't happy. I realized that I probably needed to make a change, and I needed to do something, or I was just gonna stay unhappy, and I was gonna be unhappy with the way I looked. And I'm not that type of person. I don't want to settle for less, even though I don't know. I think I do that a lot. I think like the biggest problem I have with myself and the things in my life is consistency. I have high aspirations and goals, and obviously with this podcast, I have high aspirations and goals, because why wouldn't you? I'm not doing anything just to do it. I'm doing it because I want to do it, and I want to grow it, and I want to be able to make a living off this. And I have a lot of high goals and aspirations, and I feel like the biggest thing I struggle with is consistency, and I fall off on a lot of things, or I find excuses for myself not to do a lot of things. I was the same way with jiu-jitsu for a while. Like I said, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for over a year now. I was going like probably the first couple months pretty consistently, and then I'd fall off, and you just, like every white belt, you just get discouraged. And I don't know, I kind of lost the motivation or the fun in it. And then I found that back. I only fell off for like probably 3 weeks or so, maybe close to a month. I don't know. I maybe took like a month off. But I don't know. I just had to find some new inspiration within myself, and that's kind of what I did with the podcast. I don't know. I've been working on myself, like I said, and trying to better myself, be more consistent with a lot of my goals. And I'm going to try to be more consistent with the podcast. I will be more consistent. I'm not going to say I try. I will be more consistent. Whether or not it's going to continue to be like this, MMA oriented or whatever, I have some ideas of what I want to do. Like I said, I've been talking about forever about how I want to get people on here, because it's just not, I don't know, it's kind of boring when I'm sitting here just talking to a mic and a computer screen for however long. And it's not the easiest thing to do, especially for anyone that knows podcasting or whoever's tried it. It's not easy to sit and talk in front of a mic for 30 minutes to an hour or whatever, however you're trying, whatever your target time is. Preferably, I'd like to go for an hour whenever I do a podcast, but it's pretty hard, like I said, with just one person. But I'm going to work on getting some people on here. I have a person in mind. I actually might start a new podcast, or maybe just bring a person onto this podcast. I have a person in mind, very interesting person that I could bring on to co-host it with me. Definitely someone to feed off of, bounce ideas off of, and things to talk about. I just feel like it would be better for you guys, and it'd be better for the podcast, and it'd be better for taking the podcast where I want it to go. But yeah, back to working out and everything. If you guys are curious as to what, I don't know, what I was doing or what I was taking, basically, I don't know. I'm not really consistent with my supplements, which, again, consistency. The only supplement that I'm really consistent with is my protein shake or my mass gainer. It just really depends. When I have mass gainer, I take that mainly. But when I don't have mass gainer, I just take protein. For the mass gainer, though, I actually have I saved the container. You can probably hear it rattling around. I saved the container because I knew I wanted to talk about this on the podcast. This is the only kind of stage thing or the scripted thing. I knew I wanted to talk about this because I feel like this would, some people might benefit from it. For someone like myself, I'm a pretty tall, lanky person. I'd say I'm like 6'4". As of right now, I'm probably like 165, 170. At one point in time, I was up to 180, but like I said, consistency was my issue, and I just kind of lost weight. Especially when I don't lift, I lose weight, which is like the opposite of most people. I feel like when people stop exercising, they gain weight. I'm the exact opposite. I don't know what the term is, ectomorph or whatever. I just can't retain weight. It's really hard for me to put on and retain weight, which is a blessing and a curse. But the mass gainer that I was taking was really helping. It was Maximum Human Performance. I actually found out about this from Sergio Pettis. He was posting Sergio Pettis UFC flyweight. Actually, I don't even know if he's still with the UFC, because they let go like basically all of their flyweights. There's like literally like maybe 12 flyweights left, I'm pretty sure. So I don't even know if he's still with the organization. But I saw Sergio Pettis wearing a sweatshirt, and that's basically how I found out about Maximum Human Performance. Then when I was at GNC, I saw it on sale. The first flavor I had was cookies and cream. This flavor that I'm going to be talking about is vanilla, which I'm assuming the caloric value is the same. If it's different, it's barely like any difference, so I apologize for not being certain on that. But for the vanilla Maximum Human Performance, it's the Up Your Mass. It comes with, this is if you mix it with, it's 4 scoops. If you mix it with 16 ounces of water, it's got 50 grams of protein, 650 calories, 11 grams of BCAAs, a 2-to-1 carb to protein ratio, and it's 12 servings. That's if you take 4 scoops. But for the full rundown, calories, like I said, 650, total fat 9 grams, total carbohydrates 100 grams, dietary fiber 10 grams, sugars 5 grams, protein 50 grams, like I said. For any of you guys who are worried about your vitamins or curious about the vitamins in here, it comes with vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin E, thiamine. I apologize if I'm butchering some of these names. I'm reading these off as I speak. Thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B6, folic acid, vitamin B12, biotin, pantothenic acid, calcium, iron, selenium, chromium, sodium, and potassium. And then it also has the caloric value if you were to take it with 16 ounces of milk, which I didn't do. I only took it with water, which I don't understand. And really, like, I don't have mass gainer right now, which now that I'm thinking about this, I really don't know why I didn't mix this with whole milk. And I think when I get, mass gainer again, I'm probably going to start mixing it with whole milk, because the calories are significantly higher. It's 950 calories as opposed to 650, so 300 calories more, almost 1,000 calories, which is like half of your daily caloric intake right there. Total grams of fat, 25 grams of fat, cholesterol, 175 grams, 124 grams of carbs, 10 grams of dietary fiber, 65 grams of protein, 33 grams of sugar as opposed to the 8 grams with water, and then the same vitamins that I mentioned. But like I said, this is like the only mass gainer I have used recently. I've tried other ones in the past, but I wasn't really consistent with them. But I am consistent with my protein and my mass gainer. I take them every day. Mass gainer twice a day, in the morning and at night. And I think it really helps. It's noticeable when I have it. I can tell I'm much bigger and I feel stronger. Not much bigger, but you can definitely tell you're bigger when you look in the mirror. I believe it helps. Like I said, this is the only brand I've actually tried is Maximum Human Performance. Normally because it's on sale at GNC, and I don't know, I don't want to pay some ridiculous price, because most mass gainers are like ridiculously expensive, like sometimes close to $100, and I'm not trying to pay $100 for a mass gainer that's going to last me half a month, if that. So the Maximum Human Performance, the first thing I got was it was $10, and then this container was $20. So really, I just take whatever one's on sale. It's not that I'm loyal to Maximum Human Performance or anything. It's just usually the cheapest one there, and it's always on sale. Which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but you don't really know. A lot of the times, what I should say, I don't want to say that because that sounds bad. I'm making the supplement industry sound bad, but sometimes with supplements, you don't really know what you're getting because it's not tested or checked by I think it's the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, because that's where tainted supplements come in, like in the UFC where you hear about tainted supplements, because it's not regulated by the FDA. Again, I don't know if it's the FDA. I haven't done any prior research. Next time I will come more prepared with my research. I always say I'm not 100% sure, and I need to come more prepared with my research, but I'm pretty sure it's the FDA, and I know for a fact that the supplement industry is not regulated, because that's where a lot of the times people come in with tainted supplements in the UFC. So you really don't know exactly what's good and what's not good. You can look it up on bodybuilding.com, and they usually give you a good breakdown of almost like any supplement you could think of, from how effective it is, flavor, all that stuff. But for the protein I use when I'm not using my mass gainer, I just use the Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard whey protein. And in my opinion, this is the best protein you can get in terms of flavor, the nutritional value, everything. I normally just stick with the double chocolate flavor, but basically, in my opinion, any flavor they have is pretty good. But for whatever reason, with the double chocolate and I think a few different flavors, like the serving sizes even though all of them are like the same price as the various flavors, and I get the 5-pound container for those who are wondering. But with all the various flavors, all the prices the same, but some of them come with more servings for whatever reason. I don't know exactly why. Some will come with 70, some will come with 72, and the double chocolate has the most at 74, so that's normally what I get, and it tastes really good. It tastes just like chocolate milk. I do 2 scoops of this though, the Optimum Nutrition protein, which is 240 calories, 48 grams of protein, and 6 grams of carbs. It's got calcium, it doesn't have vitamin C, I apologize, and iron. It doesn't actually have a whole lot of vitamins in it, but I guess that doesn't really matter. You should be getting your vitamins elsewhere anyways from a daily multivitamin. I can't really talk. I actually don't have a multivitamin right now. I did take a multivitamin for a while, and I need to get more. They're definitely beneficial if you don't take them. You just feel, maybe it's a placebo, but I feel like you feel better after like a month or so of being consistent with the multivitamin, taking it every day. But it says it's got also naturally occurring BCA profile, or amino acid profile, with tryptophan, valine, threonine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, phenylalanine, again, I'm butchering these, I'm just reading them off the container, methionine, arginine, cysteine, tricinine, histidine, proline, glutamine, and glutamic acid, I apologize, aspartic acid, serine, glycine, and alanine, which BCAAs are good for you. I also, if you guys are curious about my my pre-workout and if I take anything like that, I take normally I usually get Beyond Raw. If I don't have Beyond Raw, I usually get C4. But my favorite brand is Beyond Raw. I get the Beyond Raw Lit. And I think they taste the best, and they don't really give you that like super like tingly like crack feeling like almost I feel like C4 is like that in almost every other pre-workout. Not every other pre-workout, but I think Beyond Raw is the best in my opinion in terms of how effective it is, not making you feel super tingly or like you're on crack or anything. And not that I know what crack's like, but I'm just throwing that out there, trying to be funny. And I think it tastes the best. I usually get the gummy worm flavor, or they have like this fireworks flavor. That's really good. It's got 250 milligrams of caffeine, 3.2 grams of beta alanine. Let me see. It does have creatine in it. It's got microdosed creatine. It's got 1.5 grams of that, which I used to take creatine separately, but now I just kind of get pre-workout that has creatine in it. I think it's the best, and it's pretty cost effective. It beats buying pre-workout and a thing in creatine, where you can just get a 2-in-1 for the same price basically. I think this Beyond Raw runs at like, I don't know, I think maybe $30. I really don't know. You guys can look this up. I'll come better prepared next time, next podcast. Like I said, I'm just doing this all off the top. So if you guys are curious about any of this, you can look this up. For the Optimum Nutrition, though, that usually runs about like $50, $55. And then I also get, this is what I take when I'm really like dragging, like I really have no energy. I'll take this Optimum Nutrition Essential Amino Energy. This is really nice because it tastes good and it gives you like that extra energy boost. You can even drink this like after you work out for like recovery. It's really good for like muscle recovery and everything like that. Helping with soreness and stuff. Like you're normally not sore the next day. I mean, my favorite flavor, I used to get the watermelon. Right now I have the juicy strawberry burst, which is really good. Like I don't really I don't really take this consistently. Like I said, I only take it when I'm really dragging. And that's the same with the pre-workout. I really don't take pre-workout unless it's like a leg day or like like a really hard day. Whenever I really need like that extra energy, which is normally every leg day. So I really just take my pre-workout on leg days. Upper body, I can normally get through that without any pre-workout, just natural energy, being young and everything. I can normally get through that. If you guys are curious as to what I do in terms of my workout routine, it's really honestly pretty simple. I just do like a split between upper and lower, and I just alternate every day, upper and lower, like that. I try to go like 5 days a week to the gym. Try to get myself like 2 days off, because rest and recovery is very important. If you're overtraining and killing your body, you're really just like tearing down your body more than you're building it. So you definitely got to get your rest in. Rest is key, and I found that out a lot through Joe Rogan and a lot of people he brings on his podcast. Like the importance of rest is insane, and you even like as a kid, like when you're in high school or whatever, college, you go to bed at like 2 in the morning, wake up at whatever time early in the morning. You really don't get any rest. At least that's how I used to be. I try to go to bed earlier. I still stay up pretty late, but you can definitely tell the benefits of rest. Obviously you feel better and you feel more energized the next day. And I feel like it definitely has an effect on muscle growth and muscle recovery. I feel like when I'm sleeping more and I'm getting more rest and recovery, I definitely feel like I am stronger and I'm putting on more mass than opposed to before, like when I was in high school. Like I said, like last year when I was lifting, I wasn't really good with my diet, with my supplements and my sleep. And I was really just, like I said, I was working out to stay in shape, and I wasn't really getting any true results. I was getting stronger because, like, there's, like, scientifically, like, if you're lifting consistently, you will get stronger, but you're not going to get any crazy, results unless you fill up the other pieces of the equation, which the biggest pieces are diet, rest, and recovery. And then you really don't even need supplements. You really just need a good diet and a lot of rest and recovery. Supplements are just supplements. It's literally, it's in the name. It's something to supplement your diet, to help it, to fill in sometimes for other things like meal replacements, but normally it's just something to add into your diet to supplement things and to make things better. So you really don't even need supplements. Like I said, I just take them because I find them to be beneficial for myself, especially the protein and the mass gainer for someone skinny like myself. For me, it's really effective. And obviously pre-workout and stuff like that, if you've ever taken pre-workout, it's pretty effective. As far as the amino energy, I don't know if it's a placebo or not. I just feel more energized. It makes me feel better. It's probably just the caffeine. I really don't know if there's any good like actual benefits in terms of like muscle growth and anything. Probably not. But I do know that it helps with recovery and muscle recovery and stuff like that. So it gives you energy, muscle recovery, but you don't really need any of this stuff. If you have a good diet and you sleep well, you're not going to need energy. If you sleep well and if you have a good diet, you're really not going to need protein or vitamins, anything like that. If you have a good, healthy diet, which I don't really have the best diet. Right now I'm just trying to eat whatever I can to get calories in and put mass on my body basically. So I'm like, I kind of eat good, and then or I eat well, not good. I eat well, and then whenever the opportunity presents itself, or whenever I just see something basically I just eat whatever's in front of me. But if I really had to pick, or when I'm choosing, when I think of like, oh, I'm hungry, what should I make? I try to lean more towards something healthier, or just something that will not healthier, but just not complete junk, like going to McDonald's, eating snacks, eating Doritos, ice cream, whatever. I try to taper off on like a lot of the bad, like bad drinks that I put in my body too, because I feel like that's the biggest thing where like a lot, not that I've ever struggled with like obesity or anything like that, but where a lot of people struggle with like putting on weight and getting out of shape, obesity and stuff like that, is the stuff they drink soda, and you don't even realize how bad soda is for you until you stop drinking soda for an extended period of time and then drink soda. I didn't drink soda for like 2.5 months. Like at the beginning of the year, I didn't even drink soda for like the first like 2.5 months, and then I drank soda again, and it's literally like you feel like you just drank battery acid or something. It just makes you feel like crap, and the calories and the sugar that's in it is just terrible for you. Like, don't get me wrong, I still drink soda and like whatever else, whenever I can or whenever I feel like it, but I try to cut back on that stuff, because that's a lot of the times where you get those extra calories. And a lot of the extra sugar and that bad stuff is the stuff you're drinking, and not only the stuff you're eating, but the stuff you're drinking, and you don't even realize it, because you just think it's a drink, it's nothing, it's just liquid, it's not going to do anything to you. Mainly though, I just try to drink water and milk, and that's really it. I do like drink this like espresso like energy, like iced energy drink kind of thing. It's like an espresso coffee, iced coffee kind of thing. I drink that in the morning, but I mean, it's got like 230 calories and 13 grams of protein, so I'm getting my protein and my calories, and I'm sure there's a lot of sugar and carbs in there. I don't have a can in front of me to give you the rundown. Actually, you know what? Next time I'll get one. I'll save the can and I'll give you guys a rundown of that too, next podcast. But yeah, I guess that's really it. Oh, I didn't even break down what I was doing for my workout routine. For upper body though, sorry, my brain's all over the place. I'm just trying to, like I said, go off the top. But for my workout routine, for upper body, I just do bench. Sometimes it's normally just barbell bench. Sometimes if I don't do that, I'll just do dumbbell bench. I think dumbbell bench is good to do every so often, because it kind of I guess gives you or it kind of works those stabilization muscles, since you're holding two separate weights as opposed to one long weighted bar. You're holding two separate things, so it really works on your stabilization and balance and control. And I think it's a lot better in terms of preventing injury. Not that I've ever had any issues with injury in the past, but I just to stay away from injury, I try to do that every so often, just to kind of mix it up. But I do bench or dumbbell bench, and then I'll do flies normally with dumbbells at like I don't even know what angle it is. Not a 45 degree. Yeah, it might be a 45 degree. It's not 90 degrees, and it's not completely fat 180, so I guess it's 45 degrees. Math's not my strong suit either. But I'll do flies, dumbbell flies like that. I'll do rows, curls, and then sometimes I'll do pull-ups, or just to mix things up, I'll just do whatever. Like they have this tricep push-down machine at the gym I go to. It's basically just like these two little bars that you push down with your hands, like I think it's pronated grip. You push down like that, and it really works your triceps. That's nice, because if you're trying to put on mass in your arms, the triceps is 2/3 of your arm. Actually, not your bicep. Even though people try to work their biceps, that's only 1/3 of your arm. So if you're really trying to build your arms up, you want to work your triceps. That's what I try to do sometimes. But that's normally what I do for upper body. And then for lower body, I'll either do deadlifts or squats, and then I will do leg extensions. I don't do hamstring curls, which I probably should. I just hate doing hamstring curls because those things are brutal. They kill your thighs. They kill your hamstrings, and I feel like I'm going to tear my hamstring every time I do them. But I'll do the leg extensions for my quads, and then either deadlifts or squats. And then sometimes I'll do kettlebell swings to mix it up, or sometimes I'll do they have like this I don't even know it's like a kickback kind of thing, like a single leg kickback that works like your hamstrings and your butt. I'll do that, but normally I just try to do like 3 exercises, like the big one, either deadlift, squat, and then leg extensions, and either kettlebell swings for my hips. I feel like that helps with jiu-jitsu a lot, building up that hip strength, or that like I said, that single leg kickback. I don't even know what the actual term for the machine is. I just call it a single leg kickback. But yeah, that's basically what I do. I thought about this today while I was at the gym. I'm gonna try to implement a ab day in between. I'm gonna do upper abs, lower upper abs. Or no, I'll do upper abs, lower upper lower. I want to throw in like an abs day, not even an abs day, just a day to work on my core strength, because I really don't do any core work whatsoever. Really the only core work I get is from my squats, deadlifts, and bench, which I guess you get core work and stuff like that when you're not isolating muscles. You're doing a thing that kind of incorporates multiple muscle groups. You kind of get that core work in, but I want to work specifically on my core one day because I feel like that's very important. I feel like that'd be very beneficial, and for jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So that's something I'm gonna actually be implementing here soon. But I haven't started that yet. But yeah, that's really it for what I do in terms of my workout routine. If you guys want to get into MMA news, Cody Garbrandt, TJ Dillashaw recently tested positive. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that. EPO. Jeff Nowitzki came out and said basically there's no way you could have be tainted with EPO because the only way to inject it, or the only way to consume EPO is through injection. So obviously you can't. There's no excuse for that. You can't BS that. Be like, oh, it was tainted, whatever. And he also said that in terms of seriousness in anti-doping, this is towards the top, near the top. So it's pretty bad. He got a 2-year suspension, which is not good. And apparently he tested positive. They found out he tested positive back in one of the Garbrandt fights. So if Cody really wants to, he could turn that over to no contest and basically get docked a loss. Because he's at 11-3 right now. I know he's at 3 losses. I don't know exactly. I think he's 11-3. I don't know what his wins are, but anyway, he has 3 losses, two to Dillashaw and 1 to Pedro Munoz. So if he really wanted to, he could argue that and get it docked to a no contest and be 11-2-1, 11 wins, 2 losses, and 1 no contest. I'm sure, even though I don't know if they're gonna overturn the Cejudo fight. I doubt they will, because Cejudo won. Knocked him out in 20-something seconds. I don't even know. 20 to 30 seconds. I think it was 34. I don't know why that number just popped in my head and it sounds right. But I don't think they're going to try to contest that because he didn't even win. But it is pretty crappy. I think it's a pretty crappy thing to do, especially when it really kind of just puts a big taint on, or it taints your legacy. It just puts a big mark on your legacy, especially when you're considered to be one of the best bantamweights of all time, and then now this comes out, you're using probably one of the worst things you could, or one of the worst anti-doping things you could do. It puts a lot of asterisks next to his wins, and I think it's good for Cody because it makes Cody's road back to the title much easier, given that Dillashaw doesn't hold the title now. I think Marlon Moraes and Henry Cejudo are actually going to be fighting for the Bantamweight Championship here soon. I know that's what was in talks. I don't know if that's actually what they're going to do, but I know they've been talking about it. So really, if Cody wins 2 or 3 more fights with people ranked higher than him, he should move up and get that title shot again. I think that's good. I'm a Cody fan, so I want to see him get back to the title. I don't know. I think that the whole situation is pretty crappy, and I had someone tell me the other day that I think it was my dad. My dad said the other day that could have been the person that John Jones was talking about when they said that he gave up a high-profile name in his USADA case to get his time off. That could have very well been TJ Dillashaw. You never know. I know that Garbrandt said something back in 2018, almost a year ago, in April of 2018, saying something about EPO or whatever, to him taking EPO. But no one ever said anything about it. And then now all this coming out about him taking EPO is pretty crazy. Garbrandt's been saying it the whole time, and it's all now coming out. So, I mean, there's really no denying it. It happened. There is no denying it. It did happen. He was cheating. So it is pretty crappy for Dillashaw, but, I mean, what can you do? He's got his 2-year suspension. We'll see when he comes back. When he comes back, he'll be 35. It could honestly his career could basically be done. I don't want to say it's done, but 35 is old in terms of fighting. You have your exceptions like Yoel Romero, Daniel Cormier, but most fighters, once they get kind of past that prime of 29 to 33, once you get past that, which is what Dillashaw's at right now. I believe he's 33. Once you get past that, you just lose that timing. You get little millisecond slower, which is where people catch you. That could even be the problem with Tyron Woodley. That's another thing that happened since the last podcast. Tyron Woodley lost his title to Kamaru Usman. That could have been a thing that happened that Woodley's getting old. I think Woodley's 35 or 36. He is 36. So he could have very well just lost that timing. and he just doesn't have it anymore. And that very well could happen to Dillashaw. You never know, when he comes back, he might not even be the same person. So really, in reality, his career's like could be done. I'm not saying it is done, but it could be done, because he's gonna have a hard road back to the title, I think, especially when you get caught for cheating with something that serious. 2 years off, you're gonna be 2 years older. Ring rust is a factor, so it could it really well could have an adverse effect on, even though it already is having adverse effects, it could have a really, really adverse effect on Dillashaw's career. Also in other MMA news, really fast, Jon Jones has won 2 title fights since the last podcast. I think I actually did talk about the one from the 29th, but I didn't talk about the Anthony Smith one. Yeah, I mean, he's dominant as ever. In my opinion, he's the best ever. He's fighting again in June or July against Thiago Santos for International Fight Week. Jon Jones should win. If anybody in that light heavyweight division is a threat to Jon Jones, though, it would be Thiago Santos. Outside of Daniel Cormier, I think he's really the only threat. And then if he beats him, there's nobody. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see how you never know, the fight game. Anything can happen. There's always a puncher's chance, and Thiago Santos, if anyone has a puncher's chance, because he's known to have heavy hands. I don't want to give any predictions on that just yet. But we do have fights this weekend. UFC 236. For the main and co-main event, you got Poirier and Holloway and Adesanya and Gastelum. As far as my predictions, I'm going to say for the Poirier-Holloway fight, Holloway should win. He should win because Holloway's the better fighter. He could be slower because he's moving up 10 pounds. But, I mean, he also could be better because most people are better when they move up. They're not dealing with that harsh weight cut and everything. He could be better or he could be slower. We'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, Holloway should win. In my opinion, Holloway is the best featherweight of all time. He's insane. He literally gets better and more energized as the fight goes on. I just think Holloway should win that, but I feel like you can't sleep on Poirier. Poirier is legit. He's very well-rounded. It should be interesting. I'm going to go with Holloway, but hear it from me now. Don't sleep on Poirier. If anybody can beat, I don't want to say if anybody can beat, there goes my pre-workout. If anybody can beat Holloway, actually I don't want to say if anybody can beat Holloway, but Poirier has a good shot. Holloway is going to win. If I had to put money on it, Holloway is going to win. So Holloway is my pick to win on Saturday. And then for Adesanya Gastelum, I think, again, I'm on the Adesanya hype train. I've been talking about Adesanya since like October, November. I'm a huge Adesanya fan. I hope he wins, and I'm confident that he will win. I think his reach is going to be too much. He's got the range. He's got too many weapons to keep Gastelum at range. Like I said, he's got the reach to keep him at range of his strikes, which is the biggest thing with Gastelum. He's got really heavy hands. He's got really good boxing, but he's flat-footed, which is a problem with Adesanya. Or not flat-footed, but he's not. He doesn't move as much as Adesanya and other fighters. He's very stagnant. He's got better footwork than most people, or most MMA fighters, but I don't want to say most MMA fighters. He's got better footwork than most people on this earth, but in terms of MMA, he doesn't have the best footwork. In terms of UFC, he doesn't have the best footwork, especially in comparison to Adesanya. Adesanya's got great kicks to keep him at range, and the best thing to do to stop takedowns is another thing. Gastelum is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so that could obviously be bad for Adesanya, but Adesanya has proven that he's got good takedown defense, and the best way to keep someone away is to get away from those takedowns. Sorry, I really can't talk. The best way to get away from those takedowns is to keep him at range and pressure him with kicks and stuff like that, which Adesanya can do very well. He's got the range to keep him at range. He should win. He should win that fight, and if I put money on it, he's gonna win. But like I said, you never know in fighting. Anything could happen. Gastelum could put Adesanya's lights out, and that would be a huge shock. But I think Adesanya is gonna win that one, and so that's my pick. Adesanya is my pick to win against Gastelum. So I got Adesanya and Holloway as the winners for UFC 236. I'm not gonna go through the whole card because I don't have it pulled up. But yeah, those are my picks. And yeah, that's probably going to wrap up this episode of the White Belt Podcast, my second episode of 2019, and hopefully the first of many to come. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys have any suggestions or anything like that, of things I should do, things I should talk about, whatever, leave it down in the comment section below of this this video if you're watching on YouTube. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and check it out on iTunes, the White Belt Podcast. Follow me on Instagram at White Belt Podcast, not just at White Belt Podcast, and then on Twitter at whitebelt_pod. Yeah, that's pretty much going to wrap up this episode. Hope you guys did enjoy. As always, it's me, your host, Nicola, and I will catch you guys later. See ya.